Welcome to the Canberra Metro. The Canberra Light Rail Network is a light rail system that serves the city of Canberra. It is planned to spread over the whole city and connect the suburbs of Gungahlin, Belconnen, Woden, as well as the airport. The development of this public transport infrastructure is divided into 4 key stages. Stage 1 of the development was completed in April of 2019 and services commenced in May of 2019. The first stage of the light rail network is a 12-kilometre line that connects Gungahlin with the city centre. This line has 13 stations and services which run every 10 to 15 minutes. On average, this service has 90,000 passenger boardings and 1,494 trips each week. This is significantly higher than the original forecasts, demonstrating that this service is a great benefit to commuters. Stage 2A, which extends the light rail network from Civic to Commonwealth Park, is in its initial planning stage.
As can be seen by its more than expected use, the Canberra Light Rail Network is an integral part of Canberra's public transport infrastructure. The further stages of this development should be delivered to the same standard as Stage 1. Stage 1 of the Canberra Light Rail Network was delivered by Canberra Metro, a consortium of Pacific Partnerships, CPB contractors, John Holland, Mitsubishi Corporation, and Aberdeen Infrastructure Investment. Appointed in mid-2016, Canberra Metro saw the timely delivery of this light rail project through effective project management. Canberra Metro aims to be reappointed as the preferred contractor for the Stage 2 construction of this light rail project. I will now hand over to our stakeholder management expert, Stephanie, who will explain in detail how we effectively manage all stakeholders in the delivery of Stage 1.
Thank you, Nick. In Stage 1 of the Canberra Light Rail project, Canberra Metro effectively managed all relevant stakeholders in the timely delivery of the development. The stakeholder management process of the project involved the identification, organisation, engagement, and management of stakeholders to gain support, develop relationships, and achieve shared objectives. Basically, keeping a bunch of people happy so the job can be completed. The large scale of the Canberra Light Rail project and the nature of the public-private partnership, also known as PPP, required the management and monitoring of a wide range of internal and external stakeholders. As identified by Canberra Metro Agency 2016, internal stakeholders for this project include the Cabinet and all ACT government directorates. How exciting! The major external stakeholders include the National Capital Authority, NCA, regionally based community councils, suburban community associations, community interest groups, and business and professional associations. With this project, there were over 20 established stakeholders, all of whom had something to say. What a bargain! Oh, and don't forget the hundreds of thousands of passengers each week too. The NCA has also been identified as a high priority stakeholder for this project. Here's a detailed list of all the people involved with this project. Effective stakeholder engagement through early consultation and consistent and transparent communication has been identified as integral to the success of a project. In a study conducted by ENGG461 et al. In 2019, determined conflict prevention measures for public-private partnerships, 120 participants from industrial and academic backgrounds experienced with PPP were surveyed based on experience from past projects they were involved with. ENGG461 et al. Utilized Kendall's coefficients of concordance, mean significance index, and factor analysis to perform statistical analysis on the obtained data, and 4 critical conflict prevention methods were determined. The most important method identified was extensive stakeholder consultation in decision-makings, followed by clear goals and mutual benefit objectives, then clarity of roles and responsibilities of parties, and finally, transparent appeal procedures. An important note to make is that this study was conducted in relation to developing countries, in particular Nigeria and Africa. Hence, the results gathered may not be entirely applicable to a PPP in Australia. Now that we are back from the ad, let's continue. According to the Canberra Metro Agency in 2016, the Canberra Light Rail project adopted early consultation with key stakeholders and the community since 2013. Following this, 5 formal public consultations were also conducted for the project, including the Light Rail Integration Project, Early Design Consultation, Urban Design Consultation, Environmental Impact Statement (EIS) consultation, and Light Rail Network consultation. That sure is a lot of consulting. I don't know about you, but I'm impressed.
Displayed here are the main communication methods adopted for the Canberra Light Rail project as identified by the Capital Metro Authority in 2014.
If you love face-to-face engagement, being in advertisements, doing mass communication activities, media and public relation activities, using social media and websites, then this is the perfect project for you. As if it could get any better, the following tables depict a summary of the stakeholder consultation undertaken from June 2014 to August 2014. In case you wanted the details, Capital Metro Authority Environmental Impact Statement also outlines a detailed summary of consultations with government entities, utilities, public and business community groups, as well as landholders. While there are many stakeholder analysis tools and techniques, each project requires a specific combination of methods and practices to successfully engage and monitor stakeholders.
The Stakeholder Circle methodology is an effective and flexible method to maintain stakeholders, outlining the appropriate engagement approach, specific information required, and communication method to influence each stakeholder's perception, expectations, and actions according to Bourne in 2014.
Similarly, a stakeholder matrix is an effective analysis tool used to group stakeholders into similar categories and determine their interest and power in a specific project. Despite these recognized and effective management methods, D. Shepper et al. In 2014 has indicated neither the identification of stakeholders nor the fit between mapping, processing, and controlling of stakeholders has been addressed in PPP research.
This research gap has also been identified by a range of studies, i.e. D. Mataloni and Davis in 2017, J. Surya et al. In 2019, and further study is believed to be beneficial to the management of stakeholder issues for PPP projects.
Not to mention the added bonus, is with this project, like all other transportation projects, everyone expects it to work, as it is a means to take the passengers from one service provider to the next. Now let's move on to the next upgrade you definitely don't want to miss of Project Stage 2. Yuhang will now guide you through the time management.
I'm going to talking about the project time management. The project time management mainly covers the timeline of the entire project, as well as milestones. Time management is mainly divided into 3 phases: the procurement phase, delivery phase. During the procurement phase, the project proposal was issued in the fourth quarter of 2014 and closed in the first quarter of 2015, during which the project tender was conducted, followed by the release of the demand proposal in the second quarter of 2015, as of the fourth quarter of 2015. Following this, the contract was scheduled to be completed in the first and second quarters of 2016. After the conducted was concluded, the detailed design process began and the financial close of the entire project was completed in the first and second quarters of 2016. The entire process lasted 37 months during the delivery phase, which included design, construction, and some contingency planning. And here is the milestones timeline for the table. The project was operational in 2019, and it is important to stress that all expected dates are subject to change and potential risks will significantly impact the expected project timeline. A key near-term steps for the approval of this full business case are as follows. Conduct industry briefing, potential of EOI document and presentation of to ACT procurement board. Releases of EOI document, available of EOI, potential of RFP document, and condition of key dependency and stringence of benefits relation and maximization. And next, I'm going to talking about the project governance. The Capital Metro Agency, which resources from this project, was established on 1st July 2013 and as the ACT government authority. Here is the table for the Capital Metro Cabinet Subcommittee, and in this phase has some important team such as Project Management Team. The Project Management Team has a responsibility for the day-to-day advancement of the project. Members are responsible for delivering the project according to the project bonds, direction under the supervision of the project director. And next, ACT Government Procurement Board. Capital Metro Agency shall list with the ACT Government Procurement Board to direct me to how and when the project interact with that board. It is anticipated that Capital Metro Agency shall present its procurement plan to the procurement board prior into issuance of a request for explanation of interest. And next, due to the public-private partnership and the Canberra Lettering project has led to many companies and university students providing work experience and employment opportunities. The companies involved in the Canberra Lettering project are shown below, like Citigroup, the City World, the OG Metalwork, these big companies. And next, there are many tools and techniques for these companies and subcommittees to adopt time management. It is also indicated in the essence that the proper use of time management tools is beneficial to the progress of the project and the management of the project timeline. Software such as MS Project can manage the progress of the project more flexibly, as well as the working time of the staff. The same time management tools can draw the Gantt chart, something else to make the project specific and clear.
She will now outline how the risks associated with the Stage 1 delivery of the Canberra Light Rail were managed.
Today I will talk about risk management. The purpose of the risk management is to define, evaluate, and control process that may pass us through to the capital and earning. The results of the risk, including financial problem, legal problem, technical problem, management error, accident, and some natural disaster. In 2000, PM book Grandlieu define risk as unconsidered event that may have a positive or negative impact on the purpose of the project. Risk management consists of four main steps: risk identification, risk assessment, risk recognition, and the review by the change management committee. To ensure the smooth progress of the project, timely and transparent dialogue with all stakeholders is indispensable. During the construction period, it is also especially important to pay attention to the process of the project and regularly check the quality of the project. The risk register is a structure to and control project risk. During the process of each project, the potential risk can be monitored and analyzed by the maintaining of the risk register. Under the PPP structure, Canberra Lightway Company is responsible for the design, construction, and operation of the project. so the company also need to bear in related risk. The ACT government also conduct a monthly risk review through the Canberra Monitoring of the Transport Risk and Climate Change Risk refer to the evidence caused by climate change that lead to the recent loss of the stakeholders and the construction party. Canberra Lightweight Corporation consider the risk and the impact of the climate risk event on the inspection, such as the need to detect the region temperature change, monsoon phenomena, and rainfall. Properly designed, flexible is also an important mitigation factor. According to the review on the climate conducted by the Canberra Railway Department on the project process, the whole project was evaluated by the PEA, and it was determined that the project was potential risk to the climate. The following figures show the impact of the climate change on the Canberra Lightway project. And in our project, we know under PPP model, the environment considered needed by the project in the construction street are still affected by the risk of the climate change. However, the project plan was not stop construction, and we suspect use the handle resistant material to help to slagging cable, and the final section of the project is still in the line with the expected result, but there is still high according risk to the consent of the PPP risk meeting. The process risk of the construction, including increased cost, whether the company time of the project is delayed. However, the construction costs him to the surrounding factor and the process, possibly person him and property loss. The construction risk assessment of the Canberra Light Rail project will cause environment harms, the health and the safety harms, and human health harms. Harms including the construction of the project, close construction in the main road or pedestrian area will cause injury to the passerby, and the lightweight vehicle will go with the general passing vehicle enter the intersection in 2040. The project hand health analysis similar to the assess the potential harms and the risk and the impact of the project in area with high potential design. The workshop process a project improvement plan, and the plan in 2019 to establish a separation belt between Garland and the CBD, aim to the minimize the life of the road content and the sidewalk to reduce the possibility of passerby. Society risk. Society risk is defined as the risk of the project to surrounding property and infected people. The risk may be positive or negative. According to the assessment of the PEA, Canberra Light Rail will cause the travel to the residents around the local area, relative possibly including noise caused during construction. Tree in the surrounding community caused by the project are demolished. The light rail break Northbrook Avenue and Flemington Road, which may lead inconvenient procedure of the residents. Under the average of the ACT government, the project helps people to pass around the light railway fairly and safely by reduced sidewalk planning and some area and instead physical insulation bait to protect the surrounding risk during the construction. The project has also been full development. The project rail to help some people living in the outer suburb to pass through and improve the mobility and many of the people in the surrounding area to drive the economic development of the North Canberra. It is expected that Canberra Line will have a positive performance in the business area.
I would now like to hand over to Tohu, who will explain the effectiveness of Canberra Metro's scope management.
Plan for a project defines how a project must be developed, monitored, controlled, and validated. The project requires a measurable success criterion. A work breakdown structure, WBS, will be made to reduce complex tasks into a simple collection of tasks. During the project, it will be ensured that there is constant formal communication between the stakeholders. Requests for alterations in the project scope statement by the stakeholders will be considered and managed accordingly. The entire project has been adopted stakeholder-centric. So moving on to the next part, which is about collecting requirements. So as we know, there are several internal, external, major and minor stakeholders in this project, as mentioned by our stakeholder management in the previous sections. The cabinet, ACT government, directorates, passengers, functional managers, etc. are all considered to be internal stakeholders, whereas National Capital Authority, NCA, local councils, regional community, etc. are all considered as external stakeholders. Passengers are the project user requirements, just like the functional managers. For compliance requirements, government agencies are involved, such as the National Capital Authority, NCA. Project manager is considered to be an internal stakeholder for the needs of the project team. Moving on to the next section, which is scope. So design and construction of a 12-kilometer long light rail route which connects Gangahlin to the city with 13 stops. The project was delivered under the availability of public-private partnership (PPP) with a funding of around $707 million, and it took a little over 3 years to complete. The project will not only transform the city but also improve the overall transport system, including trains, roads, and bus depots. It will also reduce traffic congestion since there will be light rail service every 10 to 15 minutes, with 1,494 trips every week non-stop, commuting around 90,000 passengers. Construction materials, specifications, and testing should be up to the acceptable mark. Material specifications has been set by the civil engineer in accordance with the Australian standard codes. Requirements for BCA and PCA must be met before the project commences. The light rail carts are not within the project scope since they were provided by ACT Transport. In addition, fit-outs and fitments of the facility are also not included in the main contractor's scope. Traffic congestion may occur due to the construction. Moreover, the noise and vibration may disrupt the environment. Equipment costs are assumed without any maintenance or faulty charge. Also, it is assumed that the sponsors have adequate funding to fund throughout the entire project without calling for bankruptcy. Moving on to the next section, WBS, work breakdown structure. Here we can see a table with all the work breakdown structures as aligned. So work breakdown structures of a project is usually created on the key activities at each key milestone. Due to the varying circumstances of the projects, the WBS is always under revision. So for smooth project management, it is important for both the stakeholder and the project team to ensure they review the WBS regularly. WBS also makes it easier for the project team to plan, schedule, and budget beforehand. Moving on to the next section, which is about validating scope. So to meet the client's expectations, it is very crucial that the deliverable align with their requirements. For smooth project management, the project must be signed off formally by the client throughout the entire project instead of as a single deliverable to be signed off at the end of the project. So after every milestone, the project manager must verify if the deliverable aligns with the original scope and then set up a formal meeting with the stakeholders where the sponsor will sign the project deliverable acceptance document. In this way, the project remains well within the boundaries of the scope throughout the life cycle of the project. Here we can see another WBS, work breakdown structure, starting from the project manager verifying up until client signature. Moving on to the next section, which is how we are going to control the scope. So the smooth flow of the project can be disrupted by major or minor changes in the scope. In these circumstances, WBS plays an important role in determining what aspects of the project output may be affected by the proposed changes in the scope. The project team will be able to determine if the changes correspond with the project's milestone or scope by consistently reviewing the WBS. Upon consulting with the engineers, the project manager will decide if the change is necessary or whether it could be done without causing any major interference with the closing date. So I'm going to hand over to Hugh Hang, who's going to talk about how we managed our time in this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Tohu. And that concludes our presentation on the management of the Canberra Light Rail project. We hope you enjoyed.